Hey Taurus, I just sat down with my cards, and honestly, what came through today really caught my attention. I pulled the King of Wands first, and immediately I felt this powerful masculine energy around you. This is someone who has been watching you from a distance, and there is something about the way they hold themselves, the confidence they carry, it is almost magnetic. This person has fire in their soul, and I am getting the sense that they have been thinking about making a move toward you, but something has been holding them back. What I find really interesting here is that this King of Wands represents someone who is usually very direct and action-oriented, but in your situation, they have been hesitating. I pulled a few clarifying cards to understand why, and the energy suggests that this person might be dealing with their own internal battles right now. They could be in a position where they are trying to figure out if this is the right time to approach you, or if there are circumstances in their life that need to be sorted first. The King of Wands energy is all about leadership and taking charge, but sometimes even the strongest people need a moment to gather their thoughts before they make a significant move. This person could be someone you already know, or someone who is about to enter your life soon. What stands out to me most is that they see you as someone worth the wait. They are not playing games here, Taurus. When a king shows up in a reading, it typically represents someone who is mature enough to recognize value when they see it, and this person definitely sees your value. They might be building something in their career or sorting out aspects of their personal life before they feel ready to offer you the kind of relationship you deserve. The timing around Christmas that you mentioned in your question, I am seeing this as a period where emotions run high, and people tend to reflect on what truly matters to them. This King of Wands individual might use this reflective time to finally make their decision about reaching out to you. The holiday season has a way of making people realize who they want by their side, and I would not be surprised if you hear from someone unexpected during this time or shortly after. Now I want to talk about what the King of Wands energy means for you personally, beyond just this individual. This card is also encouraging you to embody these qualities yourself. You have been through some challenging times, Taurus, and you have developed a strength that others can see, even if you do not always feel it yourself. The universe is asking you to stand in your power right now. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable. This Christmas might feel tough, as you mentioned, but part of that difficulty might be because you are in a transformation phase, where you are learning to value yourself at a completely different level. The second card I pulled was the Two of Pentacles, and this one made me pause because it speaks directly to the balancing act you have been doing. Taurus, you have been juggling so many different responsibilities and trying to keep everything stable while also dealing with emotional situations that have not been easy. This card shows someone literally keeping two coins in the air in a constant figure 8 motion, which represents infinity and cycles. What this tells me is that you have been in this pattern of trying to maintain balance for quite some time now, and it might feel exhausting. But here is what the Two of Pentacles is really trying to communicate to you. Yes, there is a lot going on, and yes, you are managing multiple priorities, but you are actually doing better than you think. Sometimes we get so caught up in the struggle of keeping everything afloat that we forget to acknowledge how skilled we have become at managing complexity. You have developed adaptability that many people never learn, and that is going to serve you incredibly well moving forward. The challenging part about this card appearing in your reading, especially around Christmas, is that it suggests you might be feeling the pressure of balancing your own needs with the expectations of others. The holiday season often amplifies this dynamic. Family obligations, social expectations, financial considerations, and your own desire for peace and rest all compete for your attention. The Two of Pentacles is asking you to be honest with yourself about what you can realistically handle and what you need to let go of or delegate. I am also picking up from this card that there might be a financial component to the challenges you are facing. The Pentacles suit always relates to material resources and practical matters. You might be dealing with expenses that feel overwhelming right now, or trying to figure out how to create more financial stability in your life. This does not mean disaster, Taurus, but it does mean you need to be strategic about your resources. The person in the Two of Pentacles card is skilled at their juggling act because they stay focused and adaptable. You need to apply that same energy to your financial situation. What I love about this card, though, is that it reminds us that balance is not about perfection. It is about flow. You are not supposed to have everything figured out and stable all at once. Life is dynamic, and your ability to move with the changes rather than resist them is what will get you through this period. Some days one area of your life will need more attention, and other days you will be able to focus elsewhere. Trust your instincts about where to direct your energy. The third card that came up is the Devil, and I need to be straight with you about this one. This card often makes people nervous, but it is actually here to show you something really important about patterns and attachments. The Devil card represents being bound to something that is not serving your highest good. This could be a relationship dynamic, a belief system about yourself, a habit or coping mechanism, or even a toxic situation that you have convinced yourself you cannot leave. In the context of your reading, Taurus, I am getting the strong sense that there is something or someone in your life right now that you know deep down is not healthy for you, but you have been staying connected to it anyway. Maybe it feels comfortable, even though it is limiting you. Maybe you are afraid of what life looks like without this thing or person. Maybe you have told yourself that you can manage it, or that it is not that bad. The Devil card is here to say it is that bad, and it is time to be honest about it. This card appearing when you asked about Christmas being tough tells me that the difficulty you are sensing might come from having to face some hard truths about what you have been tolerating. The holiday season has a way of exposing the cracks in situations we have been trying to ignore. You might find yourself in circumstances where you can no longer pretend that everything is fine, and that moment of reckoning might feel uncomfortable, but it is actually necessary for your growth. What I find interesting is that the Devil card showed up after the King of Wands and Two of Pentacles. This suggests to me that the person represented by the King might actually be part of what is keeping you bound, or alternatively, your attachment to certain outcomes or your need to control everything represented in the Two of Pentacles might be the chains the Devil is showing you. You might be so focused on maintaining balance and waiting for certain people or situations to change that you are actually imprisoning yourself in a holding pattern. The Devil also relates to materialism and earthly pleasures taken to excess. As a Taurus, you naturally appreciate comfort and security, but this card is asking if your attachment to these things has become so strong that you are sacrificing your spiritual and emotional well-being to maintain them. Are you staying in a job that drains your soul because it pays well? Are you maintaining relationships that do not fulfill you because they are familiar? These are the questions this card wants you to sit with. The good news about the Devil card is that the chains around the necks of the figures in the traditional imagery are loose. They can remove them at any time. You have more power to free yourself than you realize. The prison is often of our own making, which means we also hold the key to our own liberation. This Christmas might be tough because it is forcing you to see where you have been complicit in your own limitations, but that awareness is the first step toward freedom. The Hanged Man came through next, and this card is fascinating because it represents a complete shift in perspective. The Hanged Man is suspended upside down, but his face is peaceful. He has chosen this position of surrender because he knows that sometimes we need to see things from a completely different angle to gain the wisdom we seek. After the Devil card, this makes perfect sense. Once you recognize what has been binding you, the next step is to surrender your old way of thinking about the situation. This card is telling you that the challenges you are facing around Christmas are not punishments or bad luck. They are invitations to see your life from a new perspective. What if the difficulty is actually a gift in disguise? What if being forced to pause and reconsider everything is exactly what your soul has been asking for? The Hanged Man represents voluntary sacrifice. You might need to let go of something you have been holding on to in order to receive something better. I am getting a strong message that this period of feeling suspended or stuck is temporary but necessary. You are in a cocoon stage right now, Taurus. From the outside, it might look like nothing is happening or even like you are going backwards, but internally, you are undergoing a profound transformation. The Hanged Man asks you to trust the process even when it does not make logical sense. Your practical earth sign nature wants to see clear progress and tangible results, but sometimes the most important growth happens in the invisible realm first. This card also speaks to releasing control, and that ties back to the Two of Pentacles energy of trying to keep everything balanced. The Hanged Man is saying, you cannot control your way through this. You cannot think your way out of it. You need to surrender to what is and allow a higher wisdom to guide you. This might feel terrifying for you, because Taurus energy loves stability and predictability, but I promise you that what is on the other side of this surrender is worth the temporary discomfort of not knowing. The timing of this card appearing in a reading about Christmas tells me that this might be a holiday season where you are called to do things differently. Maybe you need to say no to obligations you would normally force yourself to attend. Maybe you need to create new traditions that actually nourish you instead of draining you. Maybe you need to have honest conversations with people about what you can and cannot do. The Hanged Man gives you permission to be unconventional and to prioritize your own well-being even if others do not understand it. Then I pulled the High Priestess, and when this card shows up, I know we are dealing with deep intuitive knowing and hidden information. The High Priestess sits between two pillars representing duality, and she holds the scroll of divine knowledge. She sees what others cannot see. She knows what others do not know. And right now, Taurus, she is asking you to trust your inner knowing above all else. You have been receiving intuitive hits about your situation, but you might have been dismissing them or talking yourself out of what you feel because it does not align with what you want to be true or what seems logical. The High Priestess is here to tell you that your gut feelings are accurate, that sense of unease you have been feeling, valid, that suspicion that something is not quite right. Trust it. That inner voice telling you to wait or to move or to speak up. Listen to it. This card appearing after the Hanged Man suggests that the new perspective you are gaining is coming through your intuitive channels. You are starting to see beneath the surface of situations and people. You are beginning to understand the hidden dynamics that have been playing out. The High Priestess represents secrets and mysteries, so there might be information that comes to light around Christmas time that helps you understand why things have been the way they have been. I want to talk about what this means in the context of relationships, because the High Priestess often appears when there are things being kept from us, or when we are keeping things from ourselves. If there is someone in your life who has not been completely honest with you, the truth is likely to surface soon. If you have been lying to yourself about a situation, your own inner knowing is going to become too loud to ignore. The High Priestess does not let us stay in denial. She illuminates what has been hidden in shadow. This card is also deeply feminine and connected to lunar cycles and intuition. As a Taurus, you are ruled by Venus, which gives you a natural connection to feminine energy, but you might have been operating too much from your masculine side lately. Too much doing and not enough being. Too much pushing and not enough allowing. The High Priestess is inviting you to reconnect with your receptive side. Spend time in quiet reflection. Pay attention to your dreams. Notice the synchronicities around you. The answers you seek are available, but they will not come through logic alone. The Nine of Pentacles showed up next, and honestly, this card made me smile because it represents such beautiful energy of self-sufficiency and abundance. The woman in this card stands in her garden surrounded by luxury that she has created through her own efforts. She is independent, accomplished, and content in her solitude. This card is showing you your future Taurus, and it is gorgeous. What I love about the Nine of Pentacles appearing in your reading is that it confirms that all the hard work you have been doing, all the balancing acts, all the difficult choices, they are leading somewhere wonderful. You are building something sustainable for yourself. You are creating a life of quality and refinement. You are learning to enjoy your own company and to not need validation from others to feel worthy. This is huge growth, especially if you have been someone who defined yourself through relationships or external accomplishments. This card suggests that part of what makes Christmas tough this year might be that you are spending it alone or with fewer people than usual. But the Nine of Pentacles is reframing that potential loneliness as solitude, which is something completely different. Loneliness is feeling incomplete without others. Solitude is feeling complete within yourself. You are moving from the first state to the second, and that transition can feel strange, but it is ultimately liberating. The Nine of Pentacles also speaks to financial independence and material comfort. After the concerns suggested by the Two of Pentacles and the Devil card, this is reassuring. You are moving toward a place of greater financial stability. The investments you make in yourself right now, whether those are in your education, your skills, your health, or your living situation, are going to pay off significantly. You might not see all the results immediately, but they are building toward that Nine of Pentacles reality where you have created abundance on your own terms. I also want to point out that the Nine of Pentacles woman is often depicted with a bird of prey on her hand. She has mastered something wild and powerful. This represents your own mastery over your instincts and emotions. You are learning to work with your nature rather than against it. You are training yourself to focus on what serves you and to release what does not. This level of self-discipline and self-awareness is rare and valuable. The Page of Swords came through, and this card brings an energy of curiosity and mental agility. Pages represent messages and new beginnings, and when we get a Page of Swords, it often indicates news, communication, or information that requires clear thinking. This could be a literal message you receive, or it could represent your own investigative nature being activated. What I find interesting about this card in your reading is that it appears after all these major cards about intuition, surrender, and self-sufficiency. The Page of Swords is saying that while you are going through all this internal transformation, you also need to stay mentally sharp and aware of what is happening in the external world. Do not get so lost in your spiritual journey that you miss important practical information. Do not become so trusting of your intuition that you ignore red flags that are right in front of you. The Page of Swords can also represent someone young or young at heart who enters your life with news or information. This person might seem unimportant at first, but what they tell you could be significant. Pay attention to casual conversations around the holidays. Someone might mention something that seems like gossip, but actually contains a truth you needed to hear. The Page energy is often underestimated, but these messenger cards should never be ignored. This card is also about speaking your truth with clarity and directness. The sword suit cuts through confusion and gets to the point. If you have been dancing around a difficult conversation or avoiding saying something that needs to be said, the Page of Swords is encouraging you to find your voice. You do not need to be aggressive, but you do need to be clear. State your boundaries. Ask your questions. Say what you need to say. The right people will respect your honesty even if they do not like what you have to share. In terms of the Christmas difficulties you asked about the Page of Swords, suggests that some of the challenge might come from communication issues or misunderstandings. Be very careful about how you express yourself during this time. Words can wound or heal, and you have the power to choose which outcome you create. At the same time, do not hold back truth to keep the peace. False harmony is not real peace. Sometimes discomfort is necessary for authentic connection. The Tower card appeared, and I will be honest, Taurus, this one can feel intense. The Tower represents sudden change, upheaval, and the destruction of structures that were built on unstable foundations. Lightning strikes the Tower, and figures fall from it. At first glance, this seems like the worst possible card, but I need you to understand something crucial about the Tower. It only destroys what was never meant to stand. It clears away illusions so that truth can be seen. It breaks down false structures so that authentic ones can be built. When the Tower shows up in a reading about challenges around Christmas, it suggests that yes, something might fall apart or shift dramatically during this time. But the Tower is not your enemy. It is actually working in your favor, even if it does not feel that way in the moment. Whatever collapses needed to collapse. Whatever truth gets revealed needed to be revealed. Whatever structure in your life crumbles was never stable enough to support your future anyway. I am getting a strong sense that the tower in your reading relates to sudden awareness or realization. You might discover something about a person or situation that completely changes how you see everything. This could be about that King of Wands person, about a family dynamic, about your work situation, or about yourself. The discovery might be shocking, but it will ultimately be liberating because you can finally stop building your life around a false premise. The tower also represents liberation from self-imposed restrictions. Remember the devil card with those loose chains? The tower is what happens when we finally let those chains fall away. Sometimes we need a catalyst to force us out of situations we would never leave on our own. We get comfortable even in our discomfort. We get used to dysfunction. The tower refuses to let us stay stuck. It pushes us out of the burning building even when we are too scared to jump. What I want you to remember, Taurus, is that the tower is temporary. Yes, the destruction feels total. Yes, the change feels overwhelming. But this is not the end. This is the clearing. After the tower comes the star, which represents hope and renewal. You cannot get to the star without going through the tower first. Every spiritual tradition has stories about death and rebirth, about descending into darkness before ascending into light. You are in that descendant phase right now, but it is not where you will stay. The Seven of Pentacles is the second to last card I pulled, and this one speaks to patience and evaluation. The figure in this card is leaning on their gardening tool, looking at the pentacles growing on the bush they have cultivated. They are pausing to assess their progress and to decide if their efforts are yielding the results they hoped for. This card asks, are you planting seeds in soil that will bear fruit, or are you investing energy in ground that will never produce what you need? After the Tower card, the Seven of Pentacles makes so much sense. Once something has been destroyed or cleared away, you need time to evaluate what remains and what you want to build next. You need to decide where to invest your energy moving forward. Not everything that survived the tower deserves to be kept. Some things only made it through because they are sturdy and valuable, while other things survived simply because they were not in the direct path of destruction, but they still do not serve you. This card is encouraging you to be strategic about your next moves. Do not rush back into action just because sitting in uncertainty feels uncomfortable. The Seven of Pentacles represents the pause between planting and harvesting. You have done the initial work, you have sown your seeds. Now you need to wait and tend and evaluate. Not everything grows at the same pace. Some dreams take longer to manifest than others. Some relationships need more time to develop. Some career moves require patience before they pay off. I am also getting from this card that you might be feeling frustrated with the pace of progress in your life. You have been working hard, staying committed, doing what you are supposed to do, and yet you are not seeing the results you expected. The Seven of Pentacles is asking you to trust that growth is happening even when you cannot see it yet. The roots go down before the plant grows up. The foundation must be solid before the building can rise. You are in the root and foundation phase right now, and that is not as visible or exciting as the later stages, but it is absolutely essential. In the context of your question about Christmas, this card suggests that part of the difficulty might be impatience or disappointment about where you thought you would be by now versus where you actually are. Maybe you thought you would be in a serious relationship by this time. Maybe you expected to have achieved certain professional goals. Maybe you imagined your life looking different. The Seven of Pentacles is reminding you that timing is not always in our control, and that does not mean we have failed. It means we are still in process. The final card I pulled was Justice, and this is such a powerful note to end on. Justice represents balance, fairness, cause and effect, and ultimately truth prevailing. The justice figure sits on their throne holding the scales and the sword. They weigh matters carefully and then execute decisions with precision. This card is telling you that despite everything you are going through, despite the challenges of Christmas, despite the upheaval and uncertainty, There is cosmic fairness at work in your situation. Justice appearing at the end of your reading suggests that whatever happens during this difficult period will ultimately lead to a just outcome. If someone has wronged you, they will face consequences even if you never see it happen directly. If you have made mistakes, you will have opportunities to correct them and make amends. If you have been treated unfairly, the scales will balance. The universe keeps accounts, and no one gets away with anything forever. This card also speaks to personal accountability. Justice asks, what is your role in creating the circumstances you are in? This is not about blame or shame. It is about honest self-assessment. Where have you given your power away? Where have you ignored red flags? Where have you failed to speak up for yourself? Justice reminds us that we are not victims of our circumstances, but co-creators of them. When we accept that, we also accept our power to change things. In legal matters or disputes, justice indicates that truth will come out and fair decisions will be made. If you are dealing with any kind of official proceeding or contract negotiation, this card is favorable for you. The truth is on your side, even if it takes time for others to see it. Stay honest, stay ethical, stay in your integrity. Do not compromise your values to get what you want. The ends do not justify the means when justice is watching. What strikes me most about justice ending your reading is the message that this too shall pass is not just about surviving difficulty. It is about moving through it toward an outcome that is fair and right. Christmas might be tough, but you are being guided toward balance and truth. The tower might knock things down, but justice ensures that what gets built next is on solid ethical and spiritual ground. You are being recalibrated, Taurus. Your values are being tested and refined. Your character is being strengthened. And when you come out on the other side of this period, you will be more aligned with your authentic self than you have ever been. Looking at all these cards together, Taurus, I see a story of profound transformation. You have been juggling responsibilities while someone powerful watches from a distance deciding when to act. You have been bound by something that needs to be released. You are being asked to surrender and see things differently. Your intuition is guiding you towards self-sufficiency and abundance. New information is coming. Structures that do not serve you are falling away. You are evaluating where to invest your energy next. And ultimately, justice and balance are being restored to your life. This Christmas might be tough not because you are being punished, but because you are being prepared for something better. The difficulty is the labor before the birth, the darkness before the dawn. Every card in this reading points to the same truth, which is that you are strong enough to handle what is coming and wise enough to learn from it. Trust yourself, trust the process, and remember that even in the hardest moments you are held by forces larger than yourself that want nothing but your highest good.